Last season, our first in the top flight, we managed to shock the whole of Portugal, finishing in 4th. Even without playing an attacking midfielder or a striker. Only enough for the supporters to give us a B+ though. Come on, man. And we were about to lose 8 first-team players whose contracts were about to expire. We do of course have the option to sign João Neves though, but that £2.2 million would come out with our just £5 million budget. But I still think it's worth doing it for the 19-year-old who scored 18 goals last season. Also, side note about Kick-Ass. Estrela actually signed him in real life to replace Paulinho in January.
Really?
The next bit of transfer business was securing some free transfers, including this talented striker and this very versatile midfielder from PSG's second team. And around the same time, João Neves also agreed to join us permanently from Benfica. But I had my eyes on 2 more Portuguese Wonderkids. First off, Eduardo Quaresma joins us from Sporting for £1.4 million, a good defender that can hopefully develop some more with first team football. And from Porto, on loan with a mandatory future fee of just 800k, Romario Barro. Both guys were big Wonderkids in previous renditions of Football Manager, but are still good enough for our first team. However, I spent the most money on Enes Salih, a Romanian midfielder aged just 18 years old with incredible physicals. He joins us for £2.3 million, which pretty much fulfilled all of our transfer budget this summer. And this hopefully gives us a lot more variety, or in some circumstances, improve our first 11. But as we roll into our first game of the season, there are 4 players who are missing the opening fixture, and it was against Porto. So the squad did look a little different, but it was still strong, and I decided to start Gustavo Henrique, as Enes Salih match sharpness was very low, and the wing is not really where you can ignore that. And the 4-4-2 of Porto caught us just 8 minutes in with a long ball over the top for Tony Martinez to score. As I mentioned, stamina down the wings is important, and this was proven when Henrique made great things happen when faced up against 2 opponents, finding the wrong of the other winger, Samuel Pedro. And we had a chance 25 minutes in to go 2-1 up from the penalty spot by new signing Ryan May.
He's bloody missed it! What a prat!
But his blushes were saved because after taking a second half corner, Samuel Pedro retrieved the ball and decided to score the winner himself. Unfortunately, against Boavista, after going behind twice and then taking the lead, they equalised in the 93rd minute to make it 3-3. And then we lost at home 1-0. Our form has not been great.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Now, we don't have any money right now, but if the board do happen to give us any throughout the season, I'll be going for striker João Resende from Benfica. But right now, we don't even have a penalty to scratch ourselves with. After picking up a couple of starts, Enes Salih finally got on the score sheet twice in one game with 2 excellent finishes from the right side of midfield. This is still Paulinho's playground though, as he scored a hat-trick. I haven't actually mentioned it yet, but of course we qualified for the Europa League and our fixtures were in, and with a couple of tricky matches against fairly big European clubs. But our first game ever in the competition was against a Slovakian side, and it was an absolute walk in the park as we dominated the game, scoring 3 goals away from home, with 2 goals being scored by Paulinho. Back in Portugal, and Enes Salih continued his great run of form, assisting Vito in a home win against Famalicão. This game ended 2-0 with the second goal being scored by Paulinho and set up by the first goal scorer Vito. However, we are still in danger of silly points being dropped, and again it was an injury time equaliser. A trip to Transnistria though, and it's another away win in the Europa League, followed by a 1-0 win at home to Copenhagen. And it was around this time we started playing cup fixtures too in the Taça de Portugal and the Allianz Cup. Even after all these wins, we couldn't beat the 10 men of Portimonense, even after going 1-0 up as well. We took our first loss in the Europa League against Premier League side Leicester City, and it was the attacking midfielder who caused us so much trouble scoring a hat-trick, with one being from the spot and another from a direct free kick. Damn you, James Maddison. It was a very different game against Nice though, who visited from France in the next Europa League fixture. Although we initially took the lead, they did equalise just 8 minutes later. But in the second half, we were fantastic and Samuel Pedro put in an excellent second goal. An absolute calamity though by Nice, as the defender and goalkeeper both fumbled the ball so Paulinho could put it into the empty net. With another win in the league and cup, we actually sit in second place, albeit some way off Benfica in first. Europa League phase, we are looking good for qualification, and we're still in both cups for now. As we rolled into December, Gil Vicente was on the receiving end of our latest victory, and with 2 very well taken goals by 2 players who maybe haven't seen as much game time this season as they did last in Enrique and Zappa, although the regular names have still been scoring too. Casapia put up a fight against us in the league after Paulinho put us ahead by securing himself a penalty and scoring it. But summer signing Romario Barro found himself high at the pitch and his shot was squeezed in. And we successfully kept Casapia at bay, of course, by giving Paulinho another chance to score, who seems to be getting better and better, scoring 12 goals in 12 so far this season. Unfortunately, our only Europa League match this month ended in a terrible 4-1 home defeat and 10 men. Into January and the board have not increased the budget, so that's no João Resende for now. Speaking of Benfica, or their players at least, we played them twice in January in both the league and cup, and despite us taking a 2-1 lead in the league fixture with 2 goals from João Neves, their former player, we lost the match when Dani Olmo scored the winner. It was a much more one-sided affair in the cup match as they knocked us out in the 6th round thanks to 2 goals from João Mario, with us only managing to score 1, once again from João Neves. We did however beat Sporting 1-0 in an awful game which had one incredible strike from Vito. A win against Rennes in Europa League is exactly what we needed to. It put us back in the top 8 automatic qualifiers with just 1 game left against Lille of France. Domestically, we still sit in 2nd place, but Porto can overtake us if they win their game in hand. We played terribly against Lille, but somehow we managed to secure 3 points when Romario Barro squeezed in a very long-range effort.
Get in!
However, for the 3rd time in just 3 weeks, we crossed paths with Benfica and once again lost in the Allianz Cup semi-final.
Damn it, Carl!
And we followed that with only 2 wins from 5 in the league. The Europa League draw also gave us an extremely tricky tie against Valencia. The league title fight is all but over for us, but the fight for second is still very much achievable if we pick up our form in the final third of the season. Not a great start from being 3-0 up with just 21 minutes to go.
I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
And that ain't good either. Oh, that's much better. Nope, never mind. In the first leg of our Europa League tie, it was just a penalty that separated us in the away leg. The Spanish side is a better team overall, but it's just silly mistakes that made the difference in the second leg, with them scoring 2 goals from defensive errors in the first half. We did find Vito in the second half with a beautiful ball over the top and a great finish eventually, but it was just too late. I mean, it's not bad for our first season in Europe. I definitely would have taken that. And at least we are still challenging to get our spot back next year in the league too, sat in 3rd place. We definitely have Sporting's numbers. Once again, we comfortably beat them 2-0 away from home. We are just their bogey team, it seems. And 2 back-to-back wins would be promising for a 2nd place finish. But ideally, we would need to beat Porto to overtake them in the league. So with their opener late in the second half, that task has become rather tricky. We did end up scoring minutes after taking the kickoff from an outrageous goal by Paulinho, but that's how the match ended with a 1-1 draw.
I'm a fighter and not a quitter.
But I still believe we can do it. Come on, boys. Never mind. We actually went unbeaten in our last 6 matches, only dropping 2 points. And that kept us in 3rd place comfortably in a league of our own really, with Benfica only losing 1 game all season. But catching them is going to be very difficult when our board is giving us less money than last year. However, I have just secured the signing of a fantastic new Wonderkid for next season on a free transfer.